Seattle activists are trying something new to take on police brutality. Can it work? We talk with Mark Taylor-Canfield about it. Check this out. Leave your comments, ding the bell, share it with your friends, and subscribe to our channel. On the line with us is Mark Taylor-Canfield, independent reporter in Seattle. And Mark, your mayor has told Donald Trump to go back to his bunker. Trump was tweeting furiously, I believe it was last night, maybe this morning, but I'm pretty sure it was last night, about Seattle, take back your city, and if you don't, I will, and quack, quack, quack. And also I understand that there's basically a demilitarized zone now in Seattle. Tell us about what's going on.
Well, Tom, I've been following this situation for Democracy Watch News, where I serve as executive director, so folks can follow my coverage at Twitter, Facebook, or YouTube, where I've been posting a lot of videos of this. I call it the pink umbrella riot revolution because it all started with that pink umbrella that a Seattle police officer attacked about 2 weeks ago. But first of all, let me say that to counter what Donald Trump has been saying, domestic terrorists have not taken over the city, so we have no need here for federal intervention. When Governor Inslee was asked about it yesterday during his press briefing, he said, well, he basically didn't believe all the bad rumors that Sinclair-owned Como TV News and Fox has been trying to promulgate about, what's been going on there. But the Seattle Police Department, after numerous attacks on protesters with tear gas, pepper spray, and flash grenades, evacuated the East Precinct on Monday after Chief Best had promised not to use those weapons, which we had talked about on Tuesday. But they were deployed again on Sunday night and early Monday morning, and Shama Sawant, our city council member, was one of the persons who were subjected to those weapons. So protesters have set up an autonomous zone where the police have evacuated the East Precinct and the surrounding areas. They've been having music concerts, documentary film screenings. The other night when I was there, they were showing 13. Community gatherings of all kinds have been taking place there. In fact, just the other night, 2 nights ago, Tuesday night, Cal Anderson Park was filled with thousands of people. All sorts of community leaders and labor union members and religious leaders were speaking to the crowd. And then City Council member Shama Sawant, who is proposing a ban on tear gas and chokeholds on Monday. And also, Pramila Jayapal, state representative, had her town hall last night where she's also pushing her Justice in Policing Act, which will do away with chokeholds. But that group marched in huge numbers, and thousands of marchers marched to City Hall, where member Sawant unlocked the doors for people, and everyone entered. I ended up addressing the crowd and performed some music because, yes, I'm a member of the community here, besides being a journalist. But the protest demanded the resignation of Jenny Durkin for failing to rein in the Seattle Police Department in this very militarized
Who is that?
So, Jenny Durkin, the mayor, has been, the protesters are demanding that she resign. There's a lot of pressure in Seattle for the resignation. Some council members are suggesting that she resign, and there is some power on the city council to demand that resignation. But it's called the Seattle Autonomous Zone, or the Capitol Hill Autonomous Zone, because it's in the Capitol Hill neighborhood up there. It's been getting a lot of coverage from New York Times, Washington Post, international coverage. Chief Carmen Best, actually visited the autonomous zone at a time when there were very, very few protesters there. But, Tom, honestly, every time she talks about how the Seattle police are only there to, protect people from violence, and then you see all the videos that I've taken myself, and witnessed the brutalization of protesters by the police, I can't take it completly seriously, when she had her press briefing the other day and I heard that. So
yeah,
that's what's been going on.
We are seeing police riot all over the country. Is Seattle? I know you while you're a reporter local to Seattle. We're talking about Mark Taylor-Canfield. You do keep your eye on the national scene. My sense of it is that the police riots have largely settled down all across the country, except for Seattle and to some extent Portland. Is that your sense of it, or am I just looking at this through a Pacific Northwest-centric lens or something?
Well, Seattle and Portland for years have had problems with their police department and excessive use of force and tear gas and things during protests. So there's been a confrontation going on. This has been happening for years. As we talked about on Tuesday, it goes back here in Seattle to the World Trade Organization protests and maybe even the anti-Iraq war protests, where the police here became very aggressive and militarized when dealing with protesters. We've also got an issue here, Jeff, where in Tacoma, police killed another black man, Manuel Ellis. It's been ruled a homicide. The mayor of Tacoma apologized to the family members and the community. And so we have another situation which has sparked, protests in the Northwest. So I think that what's happening in Seattle is a culmination of a very, very long struggle to hold the police department accountable. We've seen what's happened in Minneapolis and other cities around the country. Well, it's also been happening in Seattle for many years. And the civilian police oversight, the Community Police Commission, the Office of Police Accountability, and even the Inspector General for the City of Seattle have said and stated this at the Public Safety Committee meeting for the City Council, that they are working in a flawed system. So everyone has known for years in Seattle, all the civil rights groups and myself have been out there trying to change and reform, the way that policing is done here. And it's finally the people have woken up and they're taking to the streets and they're not going away, Jeff. They may be here for a while.